Frontera's famous guacamole. Welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to share with you how we make Frontera's famous guacamole. That guacamole that has been on the menu for 37 years. First of all, we start with really good avocados, Mexican avocados. We only work with one co-op in the state of Michoacan, which is the avocado capital of the world, but I highly recommend that you use Mexican avocados to do this. They have to be soft. If they're hard, it will take them 5 to 7 days to actually soften up. So when you get your avocados for guacamole making, you have to have them mashably soft. Now, a lot of times people will pick them up and touch them right up here and say, oh, they're soft now. This is the place that they ripen or soften the last. And so you want to push there and make sure that under firm pressure, they are going to give. And then you're going to cut around the avocado pits. I always like to start up here at the narrow end, what we call the stem end, and then cut around that pit. Twist the two sides apart like that so that you can easily get out the pits. Now the pits can come out two ways. You can grab a spoon and get them, but I always lose them all around the kitchen when I do that. So I always use what we call the prep cook version of getting rid of the pit, and that is to lodge the end of your knife into the pit, twist, and then remove the pit like that. Our next thing is going to be to get the flesh out of the, now these are Hass avocados, but out of the skin like that. Hass avocados have a really tough skin, so you can go in and really in one scoop get it out. Hass avocados are a hybrid version of avocado that combines the wild Mexican avocado, which has amazing flavor, with the Guatemalan avocado, which has good size, and as you could see here, an easy to scoop out of skin. Okay, so we got all of that there. We'll get rid of these guys. Now, the next thing that we do is to season the avocado mash. And I'm gonna start here by adding some salt to it, and then a little bit of lime juice. Two things that avocados have absolutely none of in their natural state. So a lot of times people say that if you just add enough lime or lemon juice to your guacamole, it'll keep it from turning dark during the party. Well, not only is that not really true, but it's also going to kill the flavor of the avocado. So you want to put into your avocado mash here just enough lime juice to perk up the flavor. So I'm using a Mexican lime juicer, and I'm going to squeeze it in there. It's never going to take for me more than half of an lime for 3 avocados worth. We can come back and add a little more at the end if we need to. Now the mashing could be done with a large fork, like a meat fork, or the back of a spoon. I like to use this old-fashioned potato masher because I can mash through the avocados and keep chunks in there, and I can control it really, really well. It doesn't take very much time at all. Okay, so there we have our base. I will say that it's probably not mixed very well, so with a spoon, I'm going to mix in the lime and salt before I give it a taste. And this is the moment that I want to get everything right. So for me, that salt is really bringing up the complex flavor of avocado, and the lime just brightens everything. I think I got just exactly what I want. Now, a lot of places in Mexico, they would call this finished guacamole. because they're going to use it as a condiment. They're not going to be chip dipping with it. In the States, we tend to like a little bit more complexity to our guacamole so that we can put it out with a basket of chips and people can go into it and get as much on that chip as they possibly can. But oftentimes when you're using this as a condiment, like they would at a taqueria, they would be putting salsa on afterwards, and one of the most common salsas is salsa mexicana in a taqueria, what we call the pico de gallo salsa. So that's made with tomato, green chili, cilantro, and white onion. 4 things that we're going to add now to this. So it's like combining the salsa mexicana with the seasoned avocado mash. So I'm going to chop up a Serrano chili really finely. I'm going to cut this tomato into small pieces. The smaller the better for guacamole because it combines with everything else and creates good flavor. White onion, which gives you beautiful crispness and a bright flavor, not yellow onion, not right at all for this. And then I've got some beautiful fresh cilantro here that I'm going to chop up to add to that. I'll meet you back here when all that gets chopped. I'm chopping that chili, seeds, veins, and all. When you're using those chilies, you're using them for the heat. So everything goes in. You'll also notice that I'm chopping everything really finely. When you chop everything finely to mix with that mashed avocado, you're going to distribute all the flavor so that every bite tastes fabulous. Okay, this onion as the last of the things that go into our avocado mash. I'm going to show you a little trick that I learned in Mexico when I was living there, which I have never forgotten because it makes all salsas and guacamoles really good. Rinse the onion. Cold running water. It will take away that strong onion flavor and it'll crisp up the texture of this white onion. I just tap it against the side of the sink and to get off excess water, and then we'll put that there. Okay, so what we have here is white onion for a bright, fresh crunch. We have our chopped up Serrano chili for heat. Tomato will add touches of sweetness, and we've got chopped cilantro for that herbiness. Mix everything together. We'll give it a final taste. Even though we seasoned the avocado mash at the beginning, I always like to give it a final seasoning if it needs it, but oftentimes it doesn't. But once we get all of those salsa ingredients well distributed here in our guacamole, we should be able to tell just where we are with things. Hit more salt because of all of the vegetables that we added to it. And now I'm going to scrape all of this into a bowl. There's nothing better than this kind of guacamole with fresh, beautiful tortilla chips. Okay, this is enough for 4 to 6 people, or just me in the corner with a lot of chips.